to the weekly episodic, episode 2 of the Sports Entertainment Show. I am Jason Miller, bringing you the news, bringing you Raw. There's a lot of good things, there's a lot of bad things. First of all, let's talk about, I guess, what they started off with was Kane trying to explain that, he needs to keep the title on the Authority and that he doesn't really like Randy Orton. So I guess to try to throw a little wrinkle in there, I guess that was their way of doing it. I guess I'm okay with that. Actually, the biggest problem I had with the whole segment was Reigns. And again, I like Reigns. He looks like a superhero. He looks like a brunette Thor, if you will. That guy is ridiculously jacked, and I get that. And he can go in the ring. The problem with it is that the mic part, and the fans were just so excited that this was the beginning of Raw in Montreal. They were all ready for it. But I didn't like his delivery. I just didn't like him on the mic. I mean, he had a later on. I liked his segment with Cena in the back. But his actual mic work is going to be the downfall of him. They need to get a mouthpiece for him somehow, some way, or just make him talk a lot less. You can do it. I mean, look at the Usos are more popular right now than they ever were. They never say anything. You can do it. You just have to maneuver it a little bit better. And then they went into the Divas. I mean, a match with, one hand tied behind your back, I mean, they struggle enough with both, Why would they... Why? And, I mean, as bad as that was, then, later on, they actually have a chance for two women who can go, and AJ and Paige. They can really go. They just failed to develop a character for Paige. But they had two women who could really go and create a rivalry. And what do? They want to be BFFs because they respect each other. So stupid. I mean, it seems like every time they have a chance to do something with the Divas division, they drop the ball. And then, obviously, that whole tag team match was just for the Funkadactyls, or whatever they're called, to fight. And, how obvious the crowd doesn't care. The crowd doesn't care. And so much more they could do with that division. Speaking of the Divas, let's stay there. Another girl who could go is Emma. And Emma actually received some great news. I don't know if you heard or not, but in a house show in Toronto, Santino Marella announced that he's going to have to retire early because of a neck injury. That is the best news Emma could have heard, because they can get her away from being a Santino Marella female and get her in the ring because she can freaking go. I mean, give her a storyline, put her in the Divas, let her be. And I know that they actually rehired her and released her over the whole shoplifting thing. Again, if you pay $30 for the stuff when you're in line at Walmart, and you accidentally, and trust me, I've had dozens of girlfriends, so I know how they shop. They don't want a cart, so they just have their purse, and they decide, oh, I like this, and they put it in their purse, and they forget that they have it. I'm sure that is exactly what happened there. She spent $31 for the rest of her groceries and shoplifted a $20 iPhone case. That's what happened. And of course, it gets on TMZ, and it's big news. Oh my gosh, the criminals that WWE is hiring. And then, of course, WWE freaks out. We can't hire criminals. And then, of course, they fire and rehire once they get the whole gist of the story. Whatever the case is, once all that gets in, Emma deserves a push. She can go and put girls who can wrestle in the ring. It would be a novel idea, WWE. You can do it. Let's make it happen. Rusev. They actually had him beat someone other than... RVD is actually notable. I know that, he has a former Intercontinental champion, but they've severely mishandled Big E. If you've seen the NXT stuff with Big E, he can be a quirky, funny, comedy-ish guy, and when they make him serious, he just doesn't come off as good. They actually should have kept him in the comedy, quirky, comedic style. I think he lost a lot from where he was in NXT to where he is now. So this, to me, is the most notable win that Rusev has had over RVD. And I know RVD is just an upper mid-card kind of guy at this point in his career. But I'm very interested to see where the Rusev Swagger thing goes. I like the way they just turned Swagger face. It was such an easy transition. That was something WWE did really, really well. And just, America, Russia, let's make it happen. Everybody likes what Calder says, and that was a good way of doing it. So I did like that. I'm interested to see where that rivalry goes. I thought that Ambrose and Orton had a good match. I wish that it wouldn't have been a clean finish. And I know maybe that's too much to ask, but they have Ambrose being the crazy face. How long has it really been since WWE has had the crazy face? I mean, I might have to go all the way back to Steve Austin. I mean, and I'm not comparing the two. I don't need a bunch of comments saying, "Oh my gosh, Ambrose isn't as good as Steve Austin." That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying a crazy, out of control face. They haven't had that in a long time, and that's what they have in Ambrose. And I think they're using them to the best of their ability. I wish they would have had a Rollins run in or something along those lines. I just wish he wouldn't have lost clean, because he just lost clean. It was a little bit depressing to me, but I thought it was a pretty good match. And see, here's things that WWE mishandles. Okay, so they have the Del Rio Ziggler match. The winner gets the Sheamus main event, U.S. Championship match. Out of nowhere, apparently Fandango has friends in the back because Fandango's music starts playing. Yay, Fandango. Why? Why would that happen? And why would Ziggler care? I mean, seriously, Ziggler just stares at him like, I want to see this guy dance. This is really fun. Sometimes the logic WWE uses just insults us, and that bothers me. Damien Sandow does a better Bret Hart than Bret Hart actually does, doesn't he? I mean, seriously. Damien Sandow's legit. Doesn't matter what he does, he is entertaining. I really wish they could get him into like a Bad News Barrett role where the crowd can get behind him. And I know it sounds stupid, but I think Sandow has a really, really bright future. They're holding back on him. And I'm very, very excited for the Jericho-Wyatt feud. I really like the way Wyatt, how can you not love everything that Wyatt says? I mean, I could sit there and just listen for hours. And Jericho, one of the all-time legendary mic guys. The battle that they should have here, just talking to each other over the next couple of weeks, very, very intriguing. Cannot wait for that. I also like that they went over the top with Miz to actually try to make him the over-the-top heel that he should be. That's the only way he can succeed. I mean, they tried to make him a face. That was a humongous mistake. So anyway, that's the recap of Raw. I really thought it was a good episode, not a great episode. I think it should get better in the next 2 weeks. Now, here's the meat and potatoes of this. A lot of news in this past week. First of all, let's start with the more minor stuff. I'll end with the big stuff later. WWE Network. Okay. Right now, they were hoping for around a million buys. They only have like 667,000. That was the number they gave after WrestleMania. I'm not trying to make this a WWE commercial for their network, but if you do not have the network, what are you thinking? I do not want to have to pay $60 for a pay-per-view ever again. So I need you guys to buy. If you're watching this video, obviously you're technology savvy enough to have the network. Why would you not want it? It's $10 a month. That's $120 a year. And it charges you every month individually. So it's not like you have to pay all that money up front. My goodness, why would you not want it? And you can see anything. Anything. If you have kids, you can have them sit there and watch Slam City, which actually I like Slam City. Slam City's entertaining. But all kinds of, every pay-per-view you can ever imagine, everything's there. Go watch it. Do not waste it. Hold on a second. You can't see me turn heel. Yes, it's that time to talk about the Cena heel turn. Is it ever going to happen? I think someday it will. And here's some promising news for all you people who want to see the Cena heel turn. At the end of next year, he is in a prominent movie with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. These are two legit movie stars. And John Cena is the bad guy. I think this is a feeler. I think WWE is actually excited and want to see how does he do as a bad guy. And I know you really can't compare the two. One's just a movie. The other one's sports entertainment wrestling. I get it. But I think this is the process. And hopefully they can pull that trigger before he's too late in his career. Because I think he can still have some legendary feuds as a heel. Hopefully they don't wait too long. Now for the big one. And I'm sure anybody who's up on, wrestling knows that Steve Borden's Twitter account mysteriously had the date 7/14/14. Steve Borden, of course, is Sting, if you do not know. So, what does that mean? What's going to happen on Monday? Well, I hate to burst your bubble. I put a lot of thought into this, but I don't think it's what you guys think. He's not going to come into WWE and have to start this feud or be a character or any of this stuff. I think he's just going to have a DVD. I think he's going to have a career Sting. This is my DVD. Go buy my DVD. I think it's that simple. I think that's all it's going to be. And that would be a very good DVD. That I will say. I mean, some of my favorite matches are Steamboat Sting. I mean, if you ever want to see some great wrestling, Steamboat Sting. Go look it up on the WWE Network. Go buy it if you don't have it. But anyway, I think it's all it is. I think he's going to have like a collection DVD coming out. He said he only wanted to do one more match. That was with Undertaker, and that was before the Brock Lesnar loss. So I don't know if we're ever going to see him wrestle or not, but I think that's all that it is. So I wouldn't get too excited about it. I kind of hope I'm wrong, because I would just, the fanboy in me would love to see Sting do something WWE style, but unfortunately, I think he's just going to come out with a DVD. So anyway, I hope you liked it. Episode 2 in the books. I'll be back next week, and remember, don't cash in your briefcase. Ambrose is going to come and beat you up. What are you doing? You can't cash in. Seriously.